So the impact on your relational health with your child here is that there's this general sense of decrease in safety and security, right? There's a general feeling of caution and maybe even some anxiety or some worriedness that you're holding in your body when you go into an interaction with your child. So you're concerned about what things might feel like to your body, and you end up holding yourself in a more of a rigid posture and really kind of in a standoffish way. So if you are a child and you enter this interaction with your parent who presents with this posturing, trying to think about what that could mean, right? So we could see some attachment difficulties, like an avoidant behavior pattern, where if this is perceived as you don't want to play with me or interact with me, or it could be the opposite, where they feel like very super clingy and they can't separate from you because there's this anxious concern about you that is exuding that they don't understand, right? And they feel like they need to be there for you. So there could be a feeling of difficulty with engaging, or that your child doesn't like you, right? So if your child has attempted through these small social bids to get your attention and play, but that hasn't been returned, then the pattern may be that they don't really come right very often. And so there may be this feeling of like dislike that happens. So if we get stuck in the sensory seeking, sensory craving pattern, then there's difficulty in overall regulation and engagement. There's a difficult time in just finding that calm to be. There's some safety concerns in the efficacy role, in the efficacy of your role as a parent, right? So if you are more attuned to getting input and less attuned to what your child needs, you could see where this could cause some safety concerns and potentially maybe even some limited community engagements, because we're not thinking about what our child could participate in and what we could participate in as a family. The parent is more interested in what they need for their own body and may miss opportunities to be within the community with their child. So there's a mismatch in performance here. There's an inefficacy or inefficiency between the social bid and the social receipt, and then the give and the take that happens. We also very commonly see with the discrimination difference, either in a parent or a child, is poorly differentiated emotional responses. So if the parent is having difficulty differentiating between being a little excited about what they're playing and a lot excited about what they're playing, or a little frustrated by not being able to figure this out and get into the flow with their child, or a lot frustrated, then the emotional reaction is going to be indicative of that and could be confusing for the child as far as modeling of emotional experiences from parent to child. So our impact on our relational health is difficulties in attachment in the sense of this poor orientation, early postural shifts to share attention. How do we actually physically get our body in a position that says, I want to be in a relationship with you? Another secondary to that is if we've got poor postural stability, then usually we have this position of our head and our eyes that are either fixed up, right, upward to help with the postural stability, or potentially downward, right? But our eyes and our head are going where our core is going. So we might have a difference in eye contact, right, in order to share that attention with our child. So there's this decreased endurance in our role as a parent to sustain the task and interaction. We might give up and say, you know what, I'm just too tired. I can't do this today. I can't play today. I can't interact. I really just can't engage in this role as parent playing with you right now because I'm fatigued from my entire day. So our impact on our relational health here is really in co-regulation and in this flow of interaction, where the parent may actually be the bossy one, right? They may be the one that dominates the interaction and is very rigid when we're interacting and playing, because they need to know how it's going to go. Right. And I think sometimes when we have our parents who are super in the teaching type of play, like naming the colors and naming the animal sounds and, kind of stuck in the teaching, I think that those parents, I wonder about the motor planning capacities, because that is a way of maintaining control of the play. If we stay in this very rigid naming of items and testing of knowledge, then I know where it's going to go. I know how to play that way, right? It's a very parent-led way to play, and I know how to do that.